to be using some of our prior knowledge from this chapter and previous chapters. Solving a systems of equations, our two choices we had come up with were substitution and elimination. And everybody has their own preference of what they want to do. We might do a mixture of both of these throughout these examples. Distance formula is there. We're going to be using that to figure out the radius. Once you have a center and a point on the circle, you use the distance formula to find radius. This is just a review of what an equation of a circle looks like, where h and k are the center of a circle and r is the radius. All those are from previous chapters. So on this one, when we are given 3 points on a circle, first thing you do is you enter the ordered pair given into the circle equation for x and y. So I'm going to highlight this is our circle equation that we're going to be using. We're going to use these formulas in order to find the center of the circle. So the first thing, if we look down at this example here, our first ordered pair is 2, 1. So we're going to let 2 be x and y be 1. So I'm just going to put a t here for, this is the letter. We will have 2 minus h squared plus 1 minus k squared equals r squared. Step 2 says simplify the equation by multiplying. So when you see something is squared, you write it twice. And then you multiply. It's also called FOIL. Some people call it FOIL. When you are multiplying, you're taking the first numbers, 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times negative h is negative 2h. Minus 2h. Negative times negative makes plus h squared. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with the k's here. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative k is negative 1k. And do the insides, that would be negative 1k. Then negative k times negative k is positive k squared. Now we're going to write this kind of in descending order. I'm going to start with the biggest exponents first. So I'm going to write the h squared plus the k squared. Then I'm going to write combine my two h's here together, so that gives me minus 4h. And combine these two k's together, so that would be minus 2k. And then I'm going to take the numbers that are left that I haven't used yet, like this 4 plus this 1, and put plus 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. Now I'm going to do the letter R. Color here. So in the equation, I'm going to put 0 minus h squared plus 5 minus k squared equals r squared. You write your parentheses twice and then FOIL or multiply it out. On this first one, 0 times 0 gives us 0 squared, which is 0. We'd have minus 0h minus 0h plus h squared. That's just taking each of these and distributing the 0, distributing the negative h. Now I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to distribute 5. That's 25 minus 5k minus 5k plus k squared equals r squared. Now you write them after you FOIL. So all this stuff here, all those zeros, they don't really affect anything. So we're just going to have h squared plus k squared. I'm going to cross all those out. We don't need all those zeros. So I don't have an h, but I do have minus 10k and then I just have plus 25. This one didn't have an H, it only had a K, but I'm still writing them in descending order, equals R squared. The last one we have to do this for is the letter Y. This time I'm going to plug in -1 for the X, so -1 minus H squared plus 2 minus K squared equals R squared. If you start to notice this, like you have 2H and 2H, that's 4H, 1K and 1K, that's 2K, or 0, 0, well that's still 0, or 5 and 5, that makes 10. If you can start picking up on those kind of quick things to help you work out the problem a little bit faster, it's helpful. If not, we just write it all out. No, -1 times -1 gives me 1. -1 times -H is positive H. You get positive H, positive H squared. Okay. Next one, 2 times 2 gives me positive 4 times minus 2K minus 2K plus K squared. Now you put them in descending order, biggest exponents first, so we're going to do the H squared plus the K squared plus these two add together to give me 2 H's. These two add together to give me, I should have wrote a minus there, minus 4K, or you can write plus -4K. And then I have a 1 plus 4 left, so we'll say plus 5. And just double check the H squared, K squared, plus 2H minus 4K plus 5. Okay, so all that being said, I want you to notice all of these are equal to R squared. So the reason we do this is because now they are all equal to the same thing. We can do what's called substitution. So step 3 says set 2 equations equal to each other and then set 2 different equations equal to each other. So I'm going to just write here, I'm going to set like T equal to R, because they both equal R squared. So I'm copying over the T problem that I had. Then I'm going to copy over this purple R problem I have. These problems look really big, but they're just kind of time consuming. I kept them the same colors to help with this. But if you're going to solve or to get 2 letters here, these H squareds minus H squared, or K squared minus K squared, these two sides will cancel out. And I typically like to have my letters on the left and my numbers on the right when I'm doing this, so I'm going to bring down my minus 4H because I don't have any H's on this side. I'm going to add over the 10K, so that gives me plus 8K. Then I'm going to subtract over the 5. That gives me equals 20. Now you pick 2 different equations to set equal, it really doesn't matter. Something will cancel out every time. So let's say next one I'm going to do, let's say do R equals Y. So I'll copy my R problem. Equals my Y problem. Okay, I can set these 2 things because they both equal R squared, so I just substituted those in. You'll notice again on this one, H squared and K squared cancel each other out. So it doesn't matter if I want to take this 10K over to these K's, and maybe subtract that 5 over here, you're going to get 20 equals 2H plus 6K, and I already moved the 5 over. So now, if you see what I have left here, I have all that narrowed it down to, I just have 2 letters. It says, once you're down to the 2 variables left, you just have h and k in the problem. This is the systems of equations that we did last time, when you just have to choose elimination or substitution to solve. If you liked substitution, it doesn't look too bad to get this h by itself, because all those numbers can be divided by 2. Or up here, getting this h by itself, all those numbers can be divided by -4. So there's lots of options here. I'm going to subtract and get 20 minus 6k equals 2h. So I'm going to divide them each by 2. That's 10 minus 3k. So I'm going to use substitution to solve. But again, you can choose elimination if you prefer elimination. So -4 times 10 minus 3k plus 8k equals 20. Distribute. Combine your like terms, you get 20k. Add 40 to the other side, you get 60. So you divide by 20k equals 3. Once you have an answer, you'll just go back up to the 1 like above it. You can put it in any of those 2 that I have highlighted. Let's say I put in here h equals 10 minus 3 times 3. That's 10 minus 9, which h equals 1. So I now have a vertex of 1, 3. Remember, that's h, k. So the problem wants me to write the equation. Once I found the vertex, you're going to use the distance formula. Like I said, I didn't quite leave enough room in this box. The distance formula, using the vertex of 1, 3, and let's say I use the point, I'm just going to use point T for 2, 1. Last time I did this, I was able to fit it all in the box. This time I got a little more spread out. So 2 minus 1 squared plus 1 minus 3 squared. That's 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. So I get square root of 5. And then after you use the distance formula on step 5, step 6 says write the equation of the circle. So your equation would be your vertex, x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals r squared. So when you square the square root of 5, you get 5. So that is what you do when you have 3 points. Just to go back up to go through these steps. Step 1, enter the ordered pair into the circle equation for x and y. So I did that for each of the 3 ordered pairs given. You simplify those by multiplying them out and setting them in descending order. Because they all equal r squared, you then set 2 equations equal to each other, then another 2. So I did t and r, and then r and y. You just have to do 2 separate ones. This will result in having a 2 variable systems of equations to solve, which I have highlighted in yellow. Then you get to choose elimination or substitution to solve for h and k. Once you have h and k, that's called the vertex. You use one of the given points and the vertex, or center, I don't know why I called it a vertex, the center, to find the radius using the distance formula. Find the radius using the distance formula. Then write your equation of the circle. So let's go down here where I said vertex. Let's cross that out. It's not a parabola. We've been doing parabolas so much. It's called the center of the circle. Your center is HK. So I will go ahead and put the other notes on there so you can kind of see them worked out, these other examples, but I don't think I'm going to do a video for them because this goes step by step. And you do the same thing on each example. If you could just follow these steps at the top of your page.